Today I talked about this particular topic with many different people, so I wanted to raise it to YouTube as well. My face and my neck is a little fucked up because I trained jujitsu for the first time in a month or so. So please bear with me. Um, the topic is, how do I know what I really want to do? So many times we set goals, but what happens naturally? We don't follow through, right? Of course, there are people who follow through, but it is very likely that you grind and you burn yourself while trying to achieve your goal, so that after you achieve your goal, you go back, or you never want to do it again. It kind of like leaves you traumatized or something like that, right? So, why is that? Because what's likely to be your goal? Something that's a little bit out of reach for you, or something that is a little bit atypical of you, right? Because why? If your goal is something that is within reach, or that's something that aligns to your life, then you would have been achieving it already without even setting a goal, right? That is my proposed way of you approaching pretty much anything. Change your life, don't have goals, and goals and milestones just kind of come for free. And so, how do you change your life? I suggest Buddhist practices like 108 bows or meditation, and basically voluntary, humanly possible, challenging things, right? But that's not the point of this video today. So, the point today is, okay, so you might still want to work with goals. So, how do you set goals? How do you set proper goals? And how do we make sure that we follow through on those goals? And so I think a good way to indicate like what a good goal is, or something, how to tell whether you really want to do something, or whether you feel like you should do something, right? How to tell that is, think about the why. Okay, so what's the hottest life coaching topic? It's weight loss. So, why do you want to lose weight? Right? If the answer is related to I'll be happier, then I think that is very likely not going to give you happiness. Therefore, the path to that will also not be happy. Why? Because happiness is not something that can be found externally. Happiness has to be found within, right? Or rather, if I'm putting it more accurately, happiness has to be realized. You have to realize that you are already a happy person who is under a very convincing illusion, or guise. It's a very convincing lie. It's a very convincing nightmare. It's a very convincing delusion that you are not happy. Happiness has to be realized. Oh wait, I have no reason to be unhappy. I have no reason to suffer. Oh, these reasons I thought were reasons for me to suffer are not. But this is a little bit of a spoiler for you, depending on where you are in the journey to finding happiness, right? Okay, so I want to be ranked in my favorite game, Path of Exile. Why? Because I think I want to prove to myself that I can do it. Why? Well, because I like to stop when things get hard. I quit. So I want to prove to myself that I can do it. Why? Well, because if I prove to myself that I can do it, then it means I'm not a loser who gives up on things. What's wrong with being a loser? I'm not happy. You follow the trail of thought, right? You keep asking yourself why. And I'm not saying that setting these goals based on happiness, potential happiness, and then trying things and then not getting it, it's not meaningless. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, what do people have a tendency to do? They have a tendency to set goals that are not aligned with true happiness, and they, of course, because of the current of their life, because of their lifestyle, because of their karma, they're not going to achieve their goals, and therefore, they're going to keep feeling bad about it. They're going to keep making new reasons to feel bad about themselves. That is what I'm trying to prevent, right? So, that's the thinking about the why. The ultimate why you want to do this is a good way to set some actual goals that are not based on feelings and whatever you're feeling at the moment. So let's talk about goals that are set based on feeling and why that is a little bit problematic, right? Okay, suppose you go to the grocery shop, grocery market, and if you've been grocery shopping while hungry, you know that when you're hungry, you tend to pick up a lot of shit to eat. But when you go grocery shopping after a meal, you know by experience that you are less likely to splurge on food. And especially like junk food, like frozen burritos or like microwave pizzas and things like that. Why? Because our shopping decisions are based on feelings, right? So, this is very important. When you are feeling lonely and you think of the reasons why you are lonely, it must be because I'm ugly, it must be because I'm fat, it must be because I'm not tall enough, it must be because I'm not rich enough. Those decisions to set goals based on that feeling is okay. Suppose you have that goal. But the thing is, you don't feel like that all the time because feelings always change, much like hunger. So on days where you don't feel particularly ugly, on days where you don't feel particularly fat, you are not going to work on your goals. Why? Because the goals are predicated by the feeling. I set that goal because I was feeling like this. Therefore, because I don't feel like that anymore, I have no motivation to work towards that goal. Again, this is not the end of the world, but this has the potential to keep providing evidence to your life that says, oh, I'm a person who can't achieve goals. I don't have what it takes. I am just weak-willed and I suck. That's not the case. So, to summarize, the reason why you suck at, achieving your goals is because your goals are chasing the wrong thing. You want to find happiness, that's why you set goals, but the thing is, even if you achieve your goal, there's nothing stopping you from being unhappy, continuing to be unhappy. Moreover, when you set goals, you're likely to set goals based on how you're feeling that day. But the thing is, feelings don't last. Feelings are not permanent. Therefore, when it comes time to execute on those goals, if you don't feel like that state where you set the goal, you're not going to do things. So the important thing is, you have options. You can either set goals based on what you actually need and want to generate out of your life that's not dependent on happiness. So for example, I run a coaching business, right? And I want to make a lot of money. Making a lot of money doesn't really make me happy. I want to make a lot of money so I can spend money on things causes I can donate to. I want to spend money on building systems, infrastructural systems that benefit society. I'm already happy. But that is something I want to see in the world, so that's why I make money, right? So, that's one thing. But it is also possible to, once you set a goal, follow through on it regardless of how you feel. And that is what I call overcoming karma, right? Because if you can consistently work on something regardless of how you feel every single day, guess what? You're gonna be really good at achieving goals. And that is, again, 3 elements: voluntary, humanly possible, challenging act that you do every day, regardless of how tired you feel, regardless of how bad you feel, regardless of how sick you are. So I do everyday meditation, and I do 108 bows after waking up at 5 a.m. regardless of where I go, right? The only times I did not do this was 2 days, and both were COVID. I had sorry, it was one time it was COVID, one time it was strep throat, but it was super bad. So those days I literally did not have the consciousness to do it, but I made up for it by doing 300 bows or 500 bows later down the line, right? So because I train myself to do something regardless of how I feel, that is how I get the executive power to practically achieve anything I want to, right? So you don't need to live like this. It is by no means a requirement in life, but I can tell you it's a pretty good way to live. Is it tiring? Yes, I'm tired all the time. And does it feel good all the time? No, it definitely does not feel good all the time. But am I in charge of my life? Fuck yeah. And I like that feeling. Okay, so hope that helped. And how you can ask me questions is, number 1, you can write a question at my YouTube comment. Number 2, you can join my Discord server. Or number 3, you can send me an email at billy@julylifecoach.com. Or you can message me on Instagram, July_lifecoach. You can message me on Reddit, July Life Coach. You can find me anywhere. Alright, see you next time.